Hi guys, I'm back for another episode in the series, and today we're going to take a look at writing. As in the previous episodes, we're going to look at exactly what you have to do in each of the writing tasks, and I'm going to give you some suggestions for some ways that you can improve your writing skills. The expectations for what you can do at C2 level is quite a big jump compared to B2 or even C1 level. You're expected to express quite complex ideas in a clear way, and really what you need to do at C2 level is show that you can use English at a high level to study in different academic contexts, or to use English to work in a variety of different environments. Now in writing, there are two tasks that you have to complete, and in each one you are assessed on 4 different criteria. The first one is content, and this is basically how relevant what you write is to the question or the task that you're given. The second is communicative achievement, and this is basically how well you express your ideas and how clearly you express them. The third is organization, and this is basically how you structure your ideas and whether they're in a logical order. And the last one is language, and this looks at the range and the accuracy of the grammar and vocabulary that you use. So let's start by looking at what you have to do in part 1. Writing part 1 is an essay, but before you go ahead and write, there is some reading involved. At C2 level, you have to read 2 texts that are connected to the topic of the essay. These are about 100 words each. Then, in your essay of between 240 and 280 words, you need to summarize the information in the 2 texts, evaluate the opinions, and then come to your own conclusion. If you've done essays at B2 or C1 level, this might be slightly different because you'll notice that here, they're not giving you the points that you need to include in your essay. Instead, you're given 2 texts and you need to then decide what is the most important information to include in your own essay. It sounds like it could be quite challenging, right? Well, because it's broken down into 2 parts, first the reading and then the writing, I'm going to suggest a couple of things that you can do to help you with your preparation. The first thing regards the reading. So the first thing that I would suggest you to do is to read different articles in English. Once you've read an article, it's a good idea to then summarize what you've read into the main points. You can do this in bullet points, and 3 bullet points should be fine. But writing a summary at the end of what you read is going to help you identify the important information from the text, and this is going to be really important when it comes to the next stage, which is writing about this information. The second thing that I'm going to recommend is an online tool called Write and Improve. In the previous episode for reading and use of English, I mentioned a tool called Read and Improve, but there is also a version for writing. So to use this, what you need to do is go to writeandimprove.com, and to practice essay writings, what you need to do is choose either an option that says write paragraphs to answer the question, or choose an option that is a specific essay task. Once you've chosen your task, you'll see a task box where you can write your answer. As you type, you will see a word counter, and there's also a timer to see how long it takes for you to write your essay. Now, on the Write and Improve website, you will always see write between 150 and 300 words. But what you should be aiming to do is write between 240 and 280 words, because this is exactly what you need to do in the C2 exam. You should also be aiming to spend about 45 minutes on this task. That includes 5 minutes at the start to plan your answer, really important, and also a minute or 2 at the end to check for spelling and grammar. Once you've written your text and clicked check, you'll receive some feedback. This will show you some suggestions for how you can improve the text and some of the language and grammar that you've written. Okay, so this is really good, a really good tool that you can use, especially for the structure of your essay. So you're writing in clear concise paragraphs, and also to make sure that you're using language, including grammar and vocabulary, at a C2 level. So in part 2, you get a choice of task types, and there are basically 5 task types that you can choose from: an article, a report, a letter, a review, and an essay. Now, 2 of these options will be connected to a text which is set by Cambridge before the exam, but you should only choose one of these 2 options if you have prepared for the set text in class with a teacher beforehand. If you haven't, just choose one of the options that you like the look of the most, the one that appeals to you more, or the one that you think you have the most knowledge or experience to write about. To score high marks on this task, you need to use a range of grammar and vocabulary that's at a C2 level, but you also need to be familiar with the style of writing that you use in each of the different types of text. So for example, if you're writing a report, you need to make sure that you're using the types of phrases and expressions that you would expect to see in a report, and not the type of things that you would probably see in a review. Now, I'm sure you're probably bored of hearing this right now, but reading is definitely one of the most important things that you can do to familiarize yourself with the different types of text that you'll have to write. So, as part of your preparation, let's take a look at some of the best places where you can find a range of texts that you'll have to face in the exam. Now, to familiarize yourself with reviews, a good thing to do is to read reviews online. So you might choose to read a review for something that you'd like to watch in the future, or maybe for something that you've already seen. This way, you could even compare your idea with the opinions of the writer. Good places to find reviews are the BBC Culture website. There are also reviews on the New York Times, the Guardian newspaper, and also Empire magazine online, which is a specialist film review magazine. By looking at different types of reviews, you're going to familiarize yourself with the style and the language that is commonly used, and you can then apply this to your own writing. When it comes to articles, a great place to go is the BBC website. Here you'll find a range of articles on a range of different topics, and not only will you be able to familiarize yourself with the language and vocabulary and also the style that the articles are written in, but you'll probably learn something quite interesting. If you look, for example, on the BBC's Future section, you'll see articles that are related to science and technology. There are also sections about work life and travel. And in the culture section, you'll find things about style, art, and photography. So there is a range of things, and I'm sure you'll find something that you'll find interesting, but most importantly, you'll find examples of language and vocabulary that you can use in your own writing. So for reports, a good place to go is Lexico. If you go to the English grammar section of this website, you will see examples of different types of report, which shows the structure and also the types of language that you need to include to make your report the most appropriate. Because letters are less and less common nowadays, it's likely that you probably haven't written many letters in real life. So it might be useful to take a look at some examples to see the structure and the type of language that letters use. And a good place to do this, again, is Lexico. So head over there and take a look. Okay guys, that's the end of episode 3 in the Floquentic Explains series. I hope you found this video useful, and if you did, please give it a like and also subscribe so you're notified when the next video is released. In the description below, I'll put links to all the websites and resources that I mentioned in the video. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.